Hello friends, I'm Kanchan from Arkulmek Technologies and you are welcome to Top Brass. Today we have Sitesh Srivastava from Johannesburg, South Africa, and he has been training professionals in marketing and IT professional. He has a deep interest in corporate training. But today we are discussing something different. Why different? Because I have discussed with Sitesh a moment before that now when we are into festive era, that there was Raksha Bandhan and now the Janmashtami is coming, and most of the people they remain pious. They follow a few traditions and they don't eat meat. So I was just thinking that. Why to restrict yourself not eating meat on only 1 day or 2 days or 3 days? Why not be vegetarian all over your life? Because vegetarianism is a cruelty-free diet, and it is very good when it comes to health. It comes to weight loss. So, what do you say? What are your ideas of this topic, Sitesh?
Kanchan,
And before that, I would like to welcome you again because it's always lovely to talk to you.
Thank you, Kanchan. It's good that we have brought up this interesting topic, and all over the world, this is a subject that is very close to the chest and the heart of people, and more times like this that we are in today, as well as the festivals in India, we see that this arguments on the pros and the cons of this vegetarianism versus non-vegetarianism comes up, and it is actually a very healthy debate, and it is something which should be seen from not just one particular land or area perspective, but from the overall planet's survival, human survival, and from the ages that we have been, with animals and without them. So yes, this is an interesting subject, and I am ready to talk to you on this and put my perspective. Let's start.
Yes, so I'm vegetarian and I have all vitamins. I feel that I'm energetic and I don't really need to kill an animal to eat, because what I feel is my diet is cruelty free, and I rather tame them rather tame them and not kill them. So what's your take on this?
So, Kanchan, let me start this debate by saying that there are actually many threads out of this discussion: vegetarian versus vegan, vegetarian versus meat eater, vegetarian versus plant-based, vegetarian versus vegan diet, and there are multiple areas of discussions around it. When we say vegetarian, we are actually talking about a very broad term, and still we bring in certain parts of the diet which can be actually classified as non-vegetarian. And of course, I mentioned about milk, I mentioned about egg, and things like that. But I agree to the core, to the broader umbrella, that vegetarianism is something that the humanity was given when they came on this planet. Think about millions of years back when the humans were still in as if we believe Darwin, they were in the early ages of converting to the human form that we see today. We were basically the cavemen, cave people. And it was, if we think of those days from the plant perspective, it was only the fruits and only the nuts that were available. Because at that point of time, probably we didn't even know how to cook them. So available things for eating was the fruits, for the nuts, probably some of the herbs, some of the barks that we knew or we discovered on the way. But as we grew up from the humanity, from one epoch to another epoch, there were the non-vegetarian part which came in, because if there was people staying in the tundra regions, people staying in harsh forests, it was not easy to find out a plant. But when the fire was figured out, it was easy to cook an animal, kill an animal and cook it. So I have seen in multiple cultures the pros and cons of it, the scientific and the unscientific of it, and the arguments towards it in a factual based as well as from a therapy based perspective. So I would say that plant would always win, vegetarianism would always win, but equal number of arguments are also on the other side, without getting into any sentimental part of it. Okay, and if we think from a non-sentimental part of it, I would think that we would do more and better justice on this subject. What do you say?
You are right. You have mentioned tundra and the icy areas on the earth where the vegetation is not available, so they are dependent on animal and they have to kill. But I am not talking about those areas where the human life is dependent on animal. We are talking about those areas where it is kind of a pleasure, or it is a status symbol to have a meat on your plate. And we have come very far from the era of when mankind was not having fire, or they are not able to cook the food, but they were hunters and gatherers at that point of time. But now we have come a long way, and we are doing research. Like I've heard and I've read one article where mushroom is used to make a leather kind of product. You can use that particular product as a leather. So what I was talking is, I'm coming from that area where people are making animals suffer. People are making animal for pleasure, and there are a lot of cruelty which is happening towards animal. And people knowing it, they are doing it. They know that this is cruelty. So then in that case, what we would like to say, what's your ideas?
Yeah, so Kanchan, that is very, very valid points. Cruelty towards animals is something that subject itself travels between the ethical and the non-ethical part. One is the animals which are being killed for human consumption, and the others which are for some other reasons, like leather, you said, or something else. The cruelty has to be minimized. But if an animal is being killed, there has to be a pain. And that is the understanding that everyone knows about it. There's no painless way of death, as we all know. But I can tell you one interesting part from South Africa, where eating meat is something a commonplace every day, 3 times in a meal. It is not easy to find out a South African vegetarian joint to eat. Not that it is not available, but it is not easy to find. When I have spoken to my friends in South Africa, the local people, one interesting thing, it came around that people who are vegetarian guys, they are not good hunters. And that took me aback. And I had a lot of discussion and debates around it. The way the geography is, it is not easy to grow vegetation. And therefore in South Africa, we call it bushes. There are no forests generally found. Here it is called bushes. Now bushes are not very big. Now within bushes you can't find a bush that can be eaten. So there is no other way. Come to India. On the eastern part of India, you see that the coastal side, fish. The fish is a very good source of protein and omega-3 and whatever we say. And all the eastern belt of India, not from the Bay of Bengal to the southern side, we see a lot of consumption of fish. When you say about that it has become fashionable, I agree. It has become fashionable to have meat and put meat on the table to showcase it probably as a status symbol. I remember in 80s and 90s it was probably once in fortnight in a common middle class families we used to get meat, but now it is available on probably every day or twice a week, and then we go out and it has become a fashionable stuff, and in the name of status. And I am very much aware of growing, especially on the poultry side in India and rest of the world. How do they grow it in not so good conditions? We also have recently in this pandemic, we have heard about China and this COVID coming out from the wet markets in the Wuhan, and the way they have been, the animals are being treated and kept. So from a standards point of view, from a hygiene point of view, it is important to keep the hygiene up to the highest levels wherever the animal meat is being used. Okay, but at the same time, the cruelty has to be minimized. It should be minimized. It must be minimized, and it must be monitored. And this is also true, Kanchan, for the food which is plant-based. Are we really getting the fresh plant food? I mean, are we really getting without pesticides, or the organic farms that we have? We are paying twice, thrice, 5 times more for a good plant food. So, hygiene is a separate part of it. Preservation is a different part of it. And therefore, this has to apply to both the vegetarian part of it and the non-vegetarian side. What do you say?
Yeah, actually, you have mentioned hunting, and you have discussed this with native African people. This is a very interesting subject, because now there's no hunting which is happening. Because I have heard from my childhood that there was a king who used to go for hunting. So and then I feel there's a fairly chance given to animal also, and fairly chance given to the hunter also to really show the skill, and their fair chance is given to animal to escape. So it is kind of win-win situation. But now what happens that you just catch hold an animal, and I feel this is a very cowardly act. I've heard in Africa there are lions which are grown, and they become accustomed of human interaction. And one fine day you leave that animal in the jungle, and the poor animal doesn't know what to do about. And then the hunter comes and it kills and says it's a trophy. So I feel these kind of things should be restricted. Maybe they should be banned. And I think that is not the way to show any courage or any skill. Because the animal always trusts you. Animals are very trusting, what I feel. So I think these kind of things should be curbed, should be taken care, and there should be proper rule for animal cruelty worldwide. And apart of this, regarding hygiene, you say there are so many things, so many learnings are there, but the unfortunate part is that humans are not ready to learn. I think the curriculum should have a chapter and they should know how to interact with animals, how to interact with birds, how to interact with uh, horses. So horses are so loyal animal and so majestic animal, but we don't know until we grow up, and when we have interest, we start reading about these animals. But most of the people, they are so unaware, they are ignorant about animals. And not only the wild animal, but also the domestic animals. About cows, they don't know how to do it, how to interact with them, what is best for them, how to tame them. We don't know about dogs also. We are so scared. Most of the people are scared. Oh my God, dog will come. But they don't know how to really pacify a dog when it's barking, isn't it? So what I feel
Yes.
yeah, once you have that knowledge, so that knowledge can be used in a very positive way, and that will lead to vegetarianism. What do you say?
No, Kanchan, absolutely, absolutely. I 100% agree with you. My only few inputs would be here is animals. When we say animals, there are domesticated animals and there are wild animals. Uh, so domesticated animals, definitely there has to be a subject, probably in the schools, probably in the curriculum, about how do you deal with the domesticated animals. And it should include all of them, like the dog, the cat, the cows, the buffaloes, and probably the camels as well, uh, depending on which geography we live in. When it comes to the wild animals, it is a completely different, interesting subject. And Africa is a great land of wild as well as domesticated animals, great tourist destination for these purposes. And that is a different thinking altogether, how to deal with the wild animals. Because humans have to also live. They have actually encroached the jungles and the forests, and the animals have been pushed to a smaller spaces. So yes, humans have to be blamed for it. But when we come from the eating part of it, that is our point of discussion on the non-vegetarian eating versus the vegetarian eating. I have seen people in Japan. I have seen people in Africa and other places who maintain a balance between both. And that balance is something should be a starting point for the people who are still thinking what to do. So rather than taking one part of it or taking the other side of it, it is important to start with a common ground and then grow it, rather than doing it because it is fashionable to do. Many times we have taken our children to the doctors, where the doctor says, can you start giving him egg? And that time we don't question the doctor about the vegetarianism. The another use which I have seen in lot of Indian homes is the use of cod liver oil. The cod is a kind of a fish, if I'm correct. So you know what? So there has to be a balance of it. I agree that the vegetarian part has to be more in a diet. But the ethical and the non-ethical part actually takes us to a different realm of our social behavior towards animals and towards the domesticated animals. And you mentioned about dogs, Kanchan. In our northeast India and in some of the Thailand areas, in Thailand and the Asia Pacific, it's a delicacy. Similarly, if you go to China, probably we will all have to go and start staying in Himalayas if we visit the Chinese wet markets. So yes, there should be a constant endeavor to teach youngsters to appreciate the animals, the domesticated animals. And from an eating perspective, it is something that a conscious effort, some communities have taken it very, very seriously. They have promoted it. But since we live in a very different kind of a free thinking world, it should be important to bring it to a table and discuss it out. But yes, somewhere in my core, I feel that vegetarianism is better.
Okay, I look forward the comments of our viewers on this subject, because this is a vast subject, and I also would like to get what the other viewers think about it. So,
Exactly.
we will meet again on another different subject. Till then, bye bye. Take care.
Thank you, Kanchan. Thank you so much.
Bye.